Hello and welcome to Simple Country Place. I have 4 super easy meal ideas for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, welcome, and enjoy. And I would like to apologize. It's storming here as I'm recording this, so if you hear background rain, thunder, that's just Mother Nature. So the first thing I'm making is pork chops and like au gratin type potatoes. I'm starting seasoning the pork chops on both sides with paprika, smokehouse maple seasoning, garlic salt, and pepper. And then I'm going to sear them on both sides, just like in a fry pan. And then I will be transferring them into a baking dish and putting them in the oven to finish cooking. For the potatoes, I had boiled up some just sliced potatoes to fork tender, and then I have those dumped them into a strainer to drain. So to that same pot, I'm melting butter and sauteing some onions. Me and my husband both like onions, so I like to add them to things like this, and then adding flour and half and half to make a roux. For seasonings to that, I just added crushed red pepper, seasoned salt, parsley, and pepper. And honestly, I add different types of seasonings each time I make something similar to this, but almost always I add crushed red pepper. Just because we like the flavor that brings, like a little kick to it. And so I let that hang out on the stove, thicken for a while, and then I'm adding the cooked potatoes. And then I do add some shredded cheddar cheese in there, or shredded cheese of some facet. You certainly wouldn't have to. You could just do like au gratin potatoes, not cheesy ones, but you know us, we like cheese. I served the pork chops and the potatoes with just some steamed squash and zucchini. And this was a hit. My husband loved the pork chops, like a lot. On this day, I made bacon cheeseburger type, well, not really cheeseburger because I didn't have cheese, but bacon meatloaf. Bacon burger meatloaf. So I have egg, ground beef, and then I added French fried onions, like crunched up a bit, and bacon bits. And for the bread aspect, I just like pulled apart a biscuit there and use that for like the binding agent, or one of the binding agents, I should say. For more liquid slash like moisture, I added ketchup and stone ground mustard. I feel like those also kind of tie into the bacon burger feel. And I also, every time I make like meatloaf or meatballs or whatever, I like to mix in stages, which I don't know if that's right or wrong. It's probably wrong because I'm over mixing, but I just find it easier. So that's what I do. But for seasonings, I added that steak seasoning, garlic and herb seasoning, seasoned salt, Badia Complete, parsley, and pepper. So once that was all incorporated, I don't have a loaf pan, so I am using tinfoil to kind of like mimic the shape. And then also it makes it easy to like pull it out and rest then. Anyway, so as you can see, I'm using the tinfoil to like mold it into a loaf type shape. Again, this is real life. I'm not entering any cooking competitions or anything, so it's not the prettiest, but it's the flavor that counts. And then I just put that whole thing into a casserole dish and put that in the oven to cook. So for the topping, you always need like a glaze on meatloaf. So it was just ketchup, that stone ground mustard, and smokehouse maple seasoning, which it just smells so good. Like, smells super good, and my husband enjoys it. So, added that, and then glazed the top of the meatloaf, and then put it back in the oven to melt the glaze and finish, cooking and all those things. So. And I just served that with mashed potatoes and a side salad. And my husband enjoyed this. Meatloaf in general isn't really his favorite, but he does. He prefers meatballs, which to me is like basically the same situation, depending on what ingredients in a different presentation. But he did like it, and my brother was over that night. He enjoyed it as well. So on this night, I'm making garlic Parmesan chicken sandwiches, and I have a chicken breast that's obviously clearly frozen still, but I threw that into a pan and I'm seasoning it with garlic and herb seasoning, lemon pepper, salt, and then garlic and Parmesan, that Buffalo Wild Wings sauce. And then just spreading that over and covering it with a lid and letting the chicken cook through. And I did obviously flip it and do things throughout the cooking process, but So constructing the sandwich, I have buns there, and obviously you saw that chicken breast was like huge, so I cut it in half and used half per sandwich and put that on there, and then more of that garlic Parmesan sauce, a slice of provolone cheese, and then I just popped that into the oven on broil for like not very long, and I babysat it to make sure it didn't burn, but it just melted the cheese and then crisped up the bun a little bit. And I served that with a baked potato and a side salad. And that was something different, and my husband enjoyed it. And it was super simple, super easy and fast. On this day, I made like barbecue chicken bites. I think I've probably had this on my channel before, but again, this is real life. So I have chicken that I cut up into bite-sized pieces, seasoned with onion powder and garlic powder, salt and pepper, and then just let that cook through. Once the chicken is cooked, I obviously turn down the heat a smidge, and I'm just making the sauce right in that pan. Starting off with grape jelly that I'm gonna let melt down. And then to that added some ketchup, stone ground mustard, and yellow mustard. And obviously I'm making like a barbecue type sauce. Sometimes I'll use just regular store-bought straight up barbecue sauce. Sometimes I'll use different types of combinations to make a sauce, but I mean it all. Just a spectrum of barbecue flavors. And my husband really enjoys this. Like, I've been making this for like some aspect of this for years for him. And it is super quick and easy when you're in limited times. And honestly, for seasoning, other than what I like originally seasoned the chicken with, all I added was crushed red pepper and then mixed that in. And I just served this with some steamed broccoli and a pasta salad that I had made earlier in that day. Thank you so much for watching. Please come back for future videos.